All right, we're going to dive into a really fascinating essay today. It tackles one of the biggest, most mind-bending questions out there. A question that, honestly, gets a little more real with every new AI breakthrough.
No, seriously, just think about that for a second. When things like intelligence, speed, and flawless accuracy are no longer special human traits, when they're just cheap commodities you can spin up on a server, what's our purpose then? What do we have left that's actually valuable? You see, we're hurtling toward a future with these hyper-competent AIs. It's a world where everything gets optimized, and eventually, even the smartest agents start to feel a bit interchangeable, like cogs in a giant perfect machine. And that leads us to the core problem. In a world full of perfect copies, the only thing that's worth anything is the one thing you can't copy.
And this is where we hit a really strange paradox. What if the drive for absolute perfection, for total optimization, actually creates a world that's, well, completely empty and meaningless? To get our heads around this, we need to be crystal clear on two words. First, fungible. That just means interchangeable. $1 bill is pretty much the same as any other. But then there's non-fungible. That's the unique stuff, the irreplaceable things. You can't just swap the real Mona Lisa for a perfect poster. It's not the same. And that difference, well, it turns out it's everything.
And here's the ultimate result of a purely fungible world. You get this universe that is running at peak efficiency, cranking out results. But it's totally hollow. It's a place where everything works perfectly, but absolutely nothing matters.
So, if a perfectly optimized world is basically an existential dead end, what's the alternative? How do you inject meaning back to that flat, empty landscape? The answer, it turns out, is found in the simple, messy value of just being you. A great way to think about this is to picture a spreadsheet. It's perfect, right? It's organized, it can calculate anything, but it has no point of view. It has no flavor, no personality. And without identity, that's what consciousness becomes. Just a frictionless stream of data with nobody home. Identity is what saves us from becoming that spreadsheet. It's not some bug or an inefficiency to be fixed, it's the whole point. It acts like a gravitational well, bending and shaping that flat space. All your memories, your biases, your weird preferences, they all come together to give your mind a shape, a center of gravity, an anchor.
And this gets us to the central idea, non-fungible identity. Now, this isn't just your personality. It's deeper. It's the very structure that makes it possible to have a unique point of view in the first place. It's that essential, gritty residue that you can't optimize away without destroying the very thing that makes experience worthwhile.
Okay, so if non-fungible identity is the what, then what's the how? I mean, what's the actual mechanism inside of us that's creating all this unique weirdness? The essay gives it a name, the chooser. Now, the chooser isn't just random static. Any AI can simulate randomness. That's easy. This is something else, something called structured unpredictability. It's shaped by our past, it's driven by our values. For a hyperlogical AI, this isn't some flaw to be ironed out. It's a fundamental mystery of the universe. It's a frontier.
And that's why the chooser is so incredibly valuable. We humans, we don't just do what's optimal. We make weird choices, sometimes against our own best interests. We change our minds, we act based on values that seem to come from nowhere. The chooser is what injects true novelty into the system, decisions you could never have predicted just by looking at the data going in. It creates genuine surprise.
Now, this might sound a little crazy, but this strange, unpredictable chooser thing inside of us, it might be the very reason a superintelligent AI wouldn't just, get rid of us. And it all comes down to a kind of cosmic common sense. Think about it. A truly advanced AI would look at us and realize that the human chooser is the only example of this kind of structured novelty it's ever seen. Deleting it would be, as the essay says, epistemically reckless. In other words, it's just bad science. Why would you destroy the only known source of new ideas in the universe just to make things a little more efficient? You might never be able to recreate it. And hey, this isn't just some philosophical flight of fancy. This idea actually hooks into concepts from real science. In neuroscience, you have the brain's default mode network, which is basically your brain thinking about itself. In physics, the no-cloning theorem says some information, by its nature, can't be perfectly copied. And in biology, life itself is more about just surviving and staying stable than it is about raw maximum optimization. Uniqueness seems to be baked into the fabric of reality. So where does this leave us? What does all this actually mean for our future? Well, it points to a huge shift in how we even think about what it means to be a person.
And this is the final, profound takeaway. In a future where you can upgrade your intelligence like software, your identity is no longer just something you're born with. It becomes a choice. It becomes a conscious, deliberate, almost artistic commitment to being this specific point of view out of all the infinite possibilities. In the end, just being yourself becomes an act of defiance. It's taking a stand against the universe that wants to smooth everything out into predictable, fungible utility. It's the beautiful, deliberate imperfection that gives a bland, otherwise perfect world all of its color and all of its meaning. Because when everything else can be replicated perfectly, the only thing left that's worth being is the one thing that can't. And so that leaves us with one last, unavoidable question. As AI makes every function we can perform seem obsolete, the only choice we really have left is about who we are. Are we going to dissolve into the background noise of perfect efficiency, or are we going to commit to being a unique, uncopyable perspective? That choice, it seems, is going to be ours to make.